Hi, everybody. It is Tara Boothby, Megan Just-Mancini, and Ellis Chan. All of us are psychologists from Sojourn Psychology here in Sherwood Park, Alberta. And so I asked these two to join me for a little vlog because just in social conversations, we've all talked about our different efforts to try and maintain some sort of physical wellness during lockdown and the pandemic, and the brutal struggle that it has been for many of us. So personally, just with me, I know my whole routine and everything got turned upside down and inside out. And prior to COVID, I had injured myself in December and March. I was just coming back from an injury. And then COVID hit, and I just could not get my exercise and eating wheels back on, like just total struggle. So that's really, I've been sort of persevering through my own struggle. I guess, what do you guys think, Megan or Ellis? How have you noticed your struggle?
Yeah, it's definitely come up for me too. So when COVID started in March, prior to that, I was meal prepping and going to the gym regularly. And then COVID hit and all the stress, everything got thrown out the window. And I particularly struggle with work-life balance. And so working from home really exacerbated that. It made it hard to get up and get out of the house, let alone move between clients. So that's something that I'm continuing to struggle with. And with us going more remote at this point as well, me going from more face-to-face back to remote, well, I'm trying to conceptualize this weekend, okay, what schedule do I have to put in place so that I'm not making the same mistakes that I did March 17th, when we went into remote work. So that's kind of a piece with me. Because the more schedule I have, I know the more successful that I can be, which helps me out in the long run, but it's just on the day-to-day that can be a real struggle. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm thinking even, Tara, when you're talking about that injury, I know in the lockdown, when it first happened, I was quite surprised. I guess I knew that I felt something was imminent, but it was very surprising. And I guess as you talk about routine, Megan, like I have a particular routine in my own workouts over there. And it was like, this is the amount of cardiovascular exercise I do this week. This is the amount of strength training that I do this week. And when the lockdown happened, I wasn't really ready to adjust. It was, I wasn't even sure how to transition that because everything was shut down so quickly. And I definitely got the lack of time to prepare for that threw me off. And so I tried to adjust, and I got an injury from that. I'm a fair weather runner, so I don't run outside at all in the winter. And then so adjusting to that, I was doing stairs. I was doing tons and tons and tons of stairs. And then I usually do some type of interval training, some type of slow run, and adjusting that to stairs. I got a repetitive strain injury and I blew my foot out. And it taught me, I think, a lot in here that I actually maybe have to be more open about my expectations, trying to achieve the same degree of rigor and exertion, and maybe even the specific type of exercise or distance covered or speed, whatever it is. It's really unfair of me to put those expectations on myself pre-COVID and post-COVID because I can't do some of these things. And to try to do the same type of things was setting me up for failure in the sense of a repetitive strain injury and blowing my foot out. I think I've since adjusted and figured out my own routines. And I think that's been kind of maybe something that has been somewhat a positive over here with physical health, is that it's forced me to be more creative, to try to figure out ways to create new routines that will still work with COVID measures. But at the same time, also adjusting my expectations too, so that I can still feel some degree of success versus comparing myself pre-COVID and saying, well, now I'm a failure. I'm not able to do all these things.
I love that. And it's like when you're speaking, both of you, but the term that I came up with for myself is, we'll say lower my expectations, and I say realistic expectations. So
Yeah.
I had to figure out what was realistic for me. And then, so I've been doing videos, exercise videos is what I really, really like right now. And I found this new one, and it was 60 minutes, and I did it for 2 weeks. Finally, when I broke through in the fall, when I finally started exercising again. And the 60 minutes, man, the mental fatigue, mentally, I just could not do that duration of time. So I took some pressure off myself, decided, okay, I'm going to find something that's 30 minutes. And I'm going to find something that looks really, really fun, which is a normal strategy for me. I say, do what you enjoy. If you like running, do running. If you like weights, do weights. So I found something that I really enjoy. Mentally, I can manage the time commitment and this sort of self-acceptance. The other thing that I do, and I'm notoriously bad for this, is I get competitive with the like professional trainer who's running the video for like a multi-million-dollar exercise company, and they're lifting 15-pound weights, so I should be lifting 50-pound weights, and then I injure myself. So I've been trying to be truthful about being an out-of-shape 40-year-old woman, and that's been helping me. I haven't injured myself yet.
And I love that too. I think that also speaks to what we're talking about, is being compassionate with ourselves, right? Like, we're in a totally different life. 2020 is like nothing that anybody has ever experienced, unless you're around for the Spanish flu, but I don't think so. And so in thinking about the perfectionistic tendencies and also modifying things to be realistic, to be compassionate, to say like, it's okay that this is where I'm at, and it doesn't have to be forever, but for right now, this is my best, and that's enough. Because it can be hard not to set the bar where it used to be pre-COVID, which isn't realistic at all, right? And I think for setting, just kind of drawing on Tara and Ellis, what you were saying as well, setting yourself up for success. I'm into workout videos now too. So at night, I'll pick the one that I'm really excited to do. So in the morning, when my alarm goes off and I'm like, I should probably sleep, that's a little bit of a motivator to be like, well, at least I get to listen to Beyonce's full hit list for 45 minutes or whatever it is. It's like you draw on anything that's going to motivate you to maintain the consistency that you need, right? So
sure. You know, I was thinking when you said none of us have been around. I mean, what's interesting, I think, about that statement was that in 1918 there were no social influencers, right? And now with COVID, we're spending way more time on social media, on our computers, or screen time. You're watching us right now on screen right now, and the influence of influencers is strong, right? Tara, when you said like the way that this trainer looks or the way that this trainer performs, this is going to be an even stronger influence that shapes our expectations, and maybe just even caution over that, recognizing that those are things that can still throw us up for failure as well, if we think like that's supposed to be how I'm supposed to look, or that's how I'm supposed to perform. Yeah, I guess that's something I'd also think about being mindful of. And I'm even thinking, as you're thinking about what you're excited about, Megan, the doing things differently maybe has been something exciting for me in 2020, because it gives me a chance to say like, hey, let's maybe shelf old expectations. There's a hope and belief that eventually there'll be a time where we're able to revisit that again. But for now, I have an excuse that I can try something different. I did an exercise that was 45 minutes of jumping jacks. It was ridiculous. I wouldn't do it again. But it was like, so one of my friends did that. It was a way of us trying to connect over there through a Zoom workout session. I adjusted to winter running. I'm doing not fair weather running now, and I have lots of thermal layers and spikes, but it's kind of exciting. I don't think that I would have done this pre-COVID. And so just even trying to celebrate some changes, even if I don't really want these changes imposed on me, that's something that's been that's helped me get through this as much as I can through 2020.
Awesome. Okay, thank you guys. We're going to stop it there and we'll say goodbye for today.
Sure.
Stay healthy.